Alright, this is a reincarnation reading for Cancer the Crab. This talks about your past lives in theory. So, this is just for fun. If you would like to use any of these questions for your own tarot readings or personal tarot readings, that's entirely fine with me. I actually got this off of a back of one of the older tarot cards that I have. It's an interesting concept. It's basically the same stuff that you would use for asking a Ouija board. Certain questions about past, present, and future things. Anyway, so I've been working too hard. I had an issue a couple days ago, so I'm still trying to feel myself out. I don't feel 100% yet. I feel a little out of whack, but we'll get through this. So number one, we have who were you in your past life? We have a mass of attachment, um, representation of fears, deep thoughts that you are hiding from other people. And you may have been born in your past life around July 22nd or August 1st, around that. And you may have had an encounter with a Capricorn that wasn't like a fulfilling. I feel like it was like a love relationship, but it wasn't like fulfilling. It wasn't somebody that you married either. It was kind of like a passing fancy, if you want to say that. So number two, we have were you married? You are not married because we have Leo and Saturn here. So there was some complications, either of pride or of status with this person. You fell in love with somebody, but you married somebody else later in life. So this person was a Scorpio Venus that you married in your past life, which is an interesting concept because usually, if you're born July 22nd, August 1st, you're not really going for a Scorpio per se. You're mostly going for like a Pisces or a I think Gemini. Pisces or Gemini. Usually heavy Gemini, heavy Pisces. But yeah, that's kind of a weird weird concept. But yeah, in your past life, you might have fallen in love a lot, or you might have kind of not really taken it upon yourself to be a, a person that settled down. But I think your family wanted you to, or you kind of felt like you needed to at some point. Um, because you kind of want that stability. With number three, we have were you happy in your past life? No, you weren't because there was somebody that you loved that you couldn't be with, and that type of situation. Also, it could have also been that your parental figures either died or you were separated from them for some reason. Um, so interesting. So number four, what kind of work did you do in your past life? You did old lessons, temptation, um, going back and compromising. You were kind of what is it called? A tradesman, I think. Or you kind of dealt with newspaper, I think. So you were probably one of these like newspaper stands or something, or you kind of spread a lot of gossip and just some scandalous information. I feel it wasn't anything that was like substantial. It was more for the entertainment of other people. I feel like you entertained a lot of people, but you yourself, you kind of felt like you were empty in some way, shape, or form. Number five. Um, were you an honorable person? No, because you made a lot of enemies with your business. I feel like it's kind of like an Esquire magazine type of thing. You might have talked about certain figures that were in either government or leadership that might have made other people kind of look at you like, are you crazy? Like, you could get yourself, killed or whatever. Or, um, like, very scandalous stuff. Usually, journalism in, like, the past, um, like Nostradamus, he wrote astrology things for entertainment, and a lot of the newspapers were written by astrologists because people wanted to know about themselves, and it was a very vain um, situation there. And that's kind of what I'm getting with this. It's kind of a vain intrigue people have with what you did in your past life. Number six. Number six, what type of problems and challenges did you face? Achievements, a new lifestyle, improvement of life, a one night stand. So there was really no grounding in your life. There was no earth signs or anything. It was more like dealing with emotions. So very watery beings, very air signs, water signs, and fire signs. Mostly sensationalist signs. So you might have you might have also like written like fairy tales. You might have been a fairy tale artist too, because it's kind of a weird kind of scenario. Because I believe you wrote sensationalist columns, but you also wrote like things of fiction. So I'm getting like fairy tales, story of Cinderella, Beauty and the Beast, two unlike people coming together. Over exaggerating somebody's beauty, somebody's masculinity. You probably were one of the ones that wrote small pieces of paper that would have actually went into a larger epic novel like the Odyssey or something. But yeah, it was kind of like you weren't 100% um, credible a lot of times. That's kind of what I'm getting. Um, but yeah, you kind of got a lot of stuff with um, with your business. What is it, Pin? My cat Pin's up here. He's been having a cold, so I separated him from the other cats. He's going through like some stress. You all right, bud? Yeah. All right. So a lot of sensationalism. Number seven. Were you a famous person? Yes, but for the wrong reasons. Um, I'm getting a lot of Scorpio Mars. Scorpio Mars is kind of a fight over certain instances, certain feelings about things. Dear sweetheart, you can sit here. Certain things. Um, Also, you went from the bottom to actually become more of like a martyr over time, and that might have actually made people like angry because you go off and do your own thing, and then you'd come back and like be like wealthy, or you'd have money, or you'd be kind of being a little bit prideful in your past life. And people didn't like that. They were like, you came from poverty, you're supposed to be in poverty. It's like nobody can be happy for you. Some people are haters. My neighbors are haters. Anyway, yeah. And if you don't like look at my Twitter post, I actually had a incident with my cat farm. I take care of cats that wander away from like their homes or whatever, like during rainstorms or fireworks, like we had a couple weeks ago, and a lot of the cats were here and a lot of the dogs were here. And somebody called the police, and a lot of the stray animals got taken, and some of my cats got taken. But I take care of them all, so I wanted them all back, so I had to get an injunction and get all my animals back from the police officers and Humane Society. So it was a bit of an issue. But yeah, it's kind of that type of thing. So haters will be haters. And Pin, what are you doing, man? Pin likes your reading as well. You like it? Okay, number 8. Did you have good health in your past life? You had really good health because you would always be like, doing stuff. Usually people that run on adrenaline or they run on high factors of life, they usually do have really good health because they have to keep up that constant hustle or that constant need of getting to the next level. Okay, so number 9, we have how did you die? Let's see. We have Aries versus Scorpio. So collapse of a stable situation, estrangement, events that came crashing down, a delay. So I feel like you might have been actually part of the crumbling of Rome, the end of like the pharaohs and the Tsars of Russia. So something that actually had an entire empire fall apart. I believe that you were caught in that, and I believe, since you're kind of writing fiction, reality didn't really come into play for you in your past life. So that's a bit of what's happening. Number 10. Did you have a soulmate here? You did not have a soulmate. In your past life, everybody in your life kind of moved in and out fairly quickly, I believe. So it could have been a lot of one night stands. It could have been a lot of kind of settling in for the storm, if that's what you want to call it. You had a family, but you kind of were never home. So it's that type of thing. Your legacy lived on through your own, your own works, I believe. So you might have actually wrote some stuff that you actually find interesting now. So you might be interested in reading and learning about things. So number 11, we have is your present love in this lifetime somebody you knew in your past life? I know it wasn't, because in order to have met your person, they probably came from a winter place, or they came from a Saturn area. Saturn area is kind of more humble and more of a separation of class systems. Like if you were a noble, the peasants wouldn't really interact with you. I feel like you were from two different worlds. You might have been in the same area in a past life, but two different worlds. Number 12. 12 is, let's see, are you linked to your parents of today from a past life? Maybe in passing. There was a moment when you were lost in like a moonlit field, if that makes sense, and it was an orchard. And there was a lot of secrets, and there was a lot of information being given to the nobles of the time. And you met this person because they came from either the west, east, a different country in order to give information to nobles and government officials. You actually came across, I believe this is your mother. It's Capricorn and Jupiter, so it would be your mother because it past life it's the opposite. Capricorn's usually the father, but in present terms, it would be your mother. So it would be somebody that would have told you how to be successful beyond your wildest dreams by giving you information about what's happening in different countries, information, news. You might have also been an informant for like military stuff too. So they kind of gave you like the outlandish, exaggerated stories, and then you exaggerated it a little bit more. But yeah, you kind of had ties to your parents in a past life, which is interesting. And it was your mother, it wasn't your father. Your father would have been more aloof, I think. But you could have also had some type of like mobility to your father to some reason or another. I believe that you did meet your father, but it was kind of like a neighbor. It's kind of hard to explain. It's either neighbor or marketplace where you would have met them. Um, I know, weird how astrological things work. But you might have met them like in a very like I need stuff, so I need to go here. And that's kind of what your father figure was. And I believe that your mother and father were the same sex in a past life for you, so they wouldn't have been like female and male. They would have been either both male or both female. So it's very interesting. So you probably met all these people in your life in passing. Like if you went to the market, you would have bought like food and flowers, maybe some meat, maybe some fish, whatever the case may have been, as far as diet was concerned. Number 13, are there other members of your family that would have been reincarnated from your past life? Um, no, there's only one that I got. Not like everybody in your family was reincarnated in that time period, but there was one that really stood out. There's somebody with a mature face. It's older than 50 or 60 of age. So the difference in age. If you're 1 years old and this person's 50, that's who we're talking about here. Um, they're very confident and they only say things one time. Like if it's a piece of advice, they'll just give it to you like that's it. That's law now, like say one thing, that's them. Um but they had no fire in their sign. They had no air and they had no earth. They were very emotional people in your life. So in this present life, they would have been very emotional and they would have actually told you how they felt, and that would be law. So they're mostly rooted in feelings. They're not rooted in oh, I'm going to say this to make you jealous, or I'm going to say this or that. They're more of like, I want you to understand that this is going to happen or this is going to happen, and you shouldn't feel bad about that happening. You know what I mean? So they're more of the realist, practical person that's kind of going to give you information before it's time. Okay. Number 14. Number 14 is, what do you need to learn during this time period? Okay, so in this realm, we have Virgo and Mercury. Virgo and Mercury is very talking but being grounded at the same time. So, family time, sharing happiness, honesty, bright personality, prosperity, and creating artwork. You actually have to find out what kind of artist you are. Everybody's some type of artist, but you have to find out what your family and what you can share with other people that would inspire them. And that's kind of the level of what's going on. And you probably are very artistic or very creative. But you have to actually feel what your fans, audience, and targeted audience would feel. So that's kind of what's going on. Okay, so number 15. Uh, will you be reincarnated after this present life? Taurus and Mercury, probably not. After a long time of like creating and grinding and all this, usually your spirit needs a chance to rest. So for 5 cycles, your soul is in a rest because I believe in the previous cycles you were active, probably overly active to a point of not really getting enough, like, say, not enough achievement or enough recognition for what you do. So you've gone through creative cycles before. I believe you went through a couple duplicate cycles and a couple regular cycles of life, and you probably have stuck to some major events. Okay, so if you went through the history book, you'd probably find a couple things that look like they have like the same face as you or the same mentality as you. But yeah, you're in the history books for something or another, or you're kind of like, the director that sets the stage for other things to happen. But yeah, you were probably a little bit ahead of your time in a lot of these cycles. But anyway, Cancer, hopefully this helps you out and you understand why you feel the need to create and talk to people. But there's a little bit of dramatic to how you come off to some people. So some people like it, some people don't. And a lot of people try to help you. So it's a lot of stuff, and I believe a lot of your friends have been reincarnated to help you out, which is kind of a funny coincidence. But I believe a lot of your friends that you really connect with for no apparent reason other than being in the same vicinity are those people that have been with you for a couple cycles of, reincarnation and lifestyle. So, I just find reincarnation really fun and interesting. Not a lot changes with said vessel or person. It's just how you develop under certain circumstances, whether it's survival or navigating the world or entertaining other people because of hard times. But yeah, some of the stories that you told probably entertained a lot of people. It gave them hope, gave them inspiration, giving them something to believe in that's not so grounded in like severe reality. Um, so, yeah, it's pretty cool to think about. Even though this is for entertainment, a lot of people, you might want to, do this reading for somebody else. Um, or make your own creations from it. That's why I do all these things. I used to be a director, so mostly for school things and college, but whatever material you can use to be creative, you can use it. With these questions, you can do the same thing for character development or storyline improvement. Um, so yeah, and I also used some of these questions in a Ouija board reading I did. But yeah, these are very interesting questions. So I'm gonna let you go. I'm having a bit of a problem keeping a bit of a spirit in. But I'll see you next time, alright? Later.